I'm talking about the chin hair, the black chin hairs that I'm trying to pluck in the rearview mirror of the car while I'm waiting for somebody. It's like, yeah, I had to start keeping tweezers in my car because literally that's the best light. That is the best light. And
hot
you
tip,
always,
listeners, keep tweezers in your car. That is hilarious.
For sure, because you do. Okay, again, is this just me? Here we go. But I do the little scan of my chin, with my fingers, because you can feel the coarse ones that are gonna.
Yep.
And you feel like you're good. Okay, I'm good. And then you get in light like that, like natural outside light, and there's like a black one coming straight out, and yeah.
I've literally all of a sudden found them like curling under. And then I'm like, what the actual fuck? Like, did this just appear out of nowhere? Like, how did I not notice this? But I'll pluck them. I have not done the tweezers in the car route. But that's the thing, is they hide in the weird light, those little buggers.
Welcome to Drinks with the Girls. Conversations for women over 40 around connection, change, and the power of female friendship. Living well with stories to tell. I'm Karen, and this is Lisa.
We are moms and solopreneurs stepping into our own, diving into real conversations about things that matter to women in midlife.
We're here to spill the tea on everything that affects women in their 40s and beyond. Topics like loss and grief, changing relationships, launching kids, menopause, and reinventing ourselves in midlife. We are here to tackle it all.
Connect with us through a blend of our lived experiences, our friendship, the memory of our moms, plus a collection of real stories, honest conversations, and engaging interviews that will make women over 40 feel seen and remind them that they're not alone on this journey called life. Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of Drinks with the Girls. This is gonna be interesting today.
For many reasons.
Not only because we are going to be talking about all the weird stuff that we as women don't really talk about, but also because I have gremlins that have overtaken my computer, my Wi-Fi, my internet. I don't even know. So we're just
headphones, her mic.
Headphones. Yes, all the things. Right along with the theme of the weird stuff.
Yeah. And the reason she can look like a Pac-Man creature at some point and she pixelates in and out if you're watching this on YouTube is because of the gremlins. And so we've been effing around with this for 15 minutes and we finally just decide, screw this, it's not worth it. So particularly raw and real today.
F it. We are not about perfection. We are just about showing the F up. So here we are. So today I'm drinking, because we are recording this in the morning, I am drinking my coffee, black, nothing special, but I am drinking it out of my favorite mug. It says, I love goats and the word fuck.
Okay, where did you find that? That's so you.
Yes, it is. I actually saw it online somewhere and I sent it to my kids and I said, I need this. And so my son bought it for me.
You're like, here, let me make your shopping experience really easy. Oh my God. That is like you in a teacup.
Yes, that's me. What are you drinking, babes?
I am drinking my usual morning tizzy. So Arbonne Clean Text tea, and I don't know what my husband threw in here. I think it tastes a little like blood orange fizz. So, and I'm drinking it. Shout out to my Mountain West girlies at Lexia in my Mountain West cup. Yeah, my wonderful people that I work with on the daily. So a little brief history here. We started a tradition last year of doing something kind of, air quotes, scary for Halloween, just like, to embrace the season. And so last year we did an episode about toxins in your food supply, in your makeup, in your skincare, like all that. So I'll link that in the show notes. So that was our scary episode for last year. So this year we're like, what can we talk about? And we decided the theme would be weird shit that happens to you as you age, that's just completely inexplicable. And like, if you asked your doctor about it, they'd be like, yeah, just happens, right? Like, for example, you on YouTube, the random little bubble hairs that I have here that are just 2 inches long and like peeking out. Like, why?
My theory about that, you want to know my theory about that?
Yes, I do.
My theory about that is menopause messes us up, right? In all sorts of ways. And I've noticed it in my hair. My hair falls out, my hair is thinning. And I think those are the little regrowths. Like after you have hair that falls out because of your hormones, those are the little regrowths that come back. So that's my theory. I don't know. We could talk to a hairdresser or somebody.
Interesting.
Talk
Yeah,
to an
I know.
expert.
I keep going to my hairdresser and I'm like, my hair's falling out. She's like, well, how do you know that? I'm like, because there's a huge hunk in my brush. And she's like, well, how often are you like brushing it when it's wet or combing it? It's like, I don't know, a couple times a week. She's like, that's completely normal. I'm like, but it's not. It's big hunks of hair. So she always has to like talk me off the ledge. But yeah, it's shit like that, right? So it'll be really interesting to see. I would love for listeners to email us other stuff because I'm sure we're going to miss things because we just kind of did a random like brain dump on this. Yeah, that would be kind of fun if you all pinged us with stuff that you missed.
What's that weird, scary stuff that you're dealing with that you don't want to tell anybody about because it's freaking embarrassing or because honestly, we just haven't been encouraged to talk about, things like this. So listeners, grab your drink because we're going to go there. We're going to talk about those nasty little chin hairs. We're going to talk about peeing a little bit when you sneeze or laugh. We're going to talk about how everything down there changes, the way that it looks, the way that it feels, all the things, right? Nothing is off the table. So,
or how about the weird ninja mind shit that happens when you're scrolling TikTok late at night and all of a sudden it starts showing you reels of the very thing that you're worried about and it can like read your friggin' mind? That freaks me out.
That's happened to me a couple times, and God. I'm in denial that really happened. I'm like, oh no, that was just coincidence. But yeah, I'm a little nervous about the way technology is headed.
Yeah, and example. So my son has this condition that I can never pronounce. I think it's hydrantitis supranativa. It's crazy Latin, and it's basically something that people with autism are prone to, and it's essentially getting abscesses in places where skin comes together. So he's pretty prone to it, like under his arms, and it literally took 6 weeks. And basically, again, this is gross, but that's how we're rolling today. It ended up being like a fist-size abscess, and it exploded, and we had to go to the ER.
Oh, poor baby. Oh my gosh.
I know. And the abscesses are like far enough below the skin that you can't lance them. So it's just nobody can give us answers. So I was literally like scrolling through TikTok last night and all of a sudden this woman's account that just focuses on this showed up. And I was like, oh, come on. Like I've ever like.
What I think happens is when you linger, like you're scrolling, right? And let's say you see an ad or you see a new account. If you linger longer than normal, I think that sends something to the algorithm because that's the only thing I can think of. Because if they are like, the invasion of the brain snatchers, but I can't anymore. All my technology is going to go in the freaking dumpster.
Well, and here's the other weird thing, right? Is the only connection I can think of is that I Googled it. But Google and TikTok don't share love.
Oh, they all talk, girl.
But that's kind of what I'm thinking is they all talk. Freaking patriarchy.
Patriarchy and menopause. Damn.
Yeah. So, okay, moving on.
Why does society condition us as women to be silent about these things? Like, why do we not feel we can talk to people, our besties, about all those kind of gross, and not even as older women, even as younger women? Because, it took me a while before I really knew what was happening with my body biologically, right? And so, but you don't feel like you can talk to anybody about it.
Yeah.
Like my mom wasn't talking to me about it. And so it's like, you just kind of keep it inside. Yeah. And so I think that transfers to us now as we go through perimenopause and menopause and all these things are happening. And we're just like, oh my God, am I the only one?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, honestly, it all goes back to this, like, be ladylike, be delicate, be, that whole thing. Oh, that's not ladylike. Right. And it's funny because I catch myself sometimes, like my daughter just loves to like let out a large burp. Right. I'm like, Jesus, come on. Like, could you just say, excuse me or something? And I almost caught myself the other day saying it's not like proper or something. Then I was like, thankfully I scrunched it before it came out of my mouth, but I was like, good God, like, stop, like, I want to put that on
Fun
her.
fact, I used to love burping when I was in college, and I would go in the stairwell in the dorms where it really echoes a lot, and I would just let one go. And oh my God, yeah. Talk about unladylike, but you know what? Who cares? That wasn't the vibe I was going for. Ladylike was not the vibe I was
Oh
going
my
for.
God, that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I also think it has to do with the fact that like we're not allowed to be fully human.
Yeah.
Right? Like men don't want to know when we fart, right? Or all the other bodily functions that happen normally as a human. You know, we're not allowed to be gross. We're not allowed to sweat because those are like not feminine things or ladylike things. And so we hold on to that for years and years. And so, yeah, then we start getting these crazy things that happen to our bodies, and we still feel a little bit, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely more, I'm talking about the chin hair, the black chin hairs that I'm trying to pluck in the rearview mirror of the car while I'm waiting for somebody. You know, it's like, I had to start keeping tweezers in my car because literally that's the best light. That is the best light. And
hot
and
tip, listeners, keep tweezers in your car. That is hilarious.
For sure, because again, is this just me? Here we go. But I do the little scan of my chin, with my fingers, because you can feel the coarse ones that are going to.
Yep.
And, you feel like you're good. Okay, I'm good. And then you get in light like that, like natural outside light, and there's like a black one coming straight out. And
I've literally all of a sudden found them like curling under. And then I'm like, what the actual fuck? Like, did this just appear out of nowhere? Like, how did I not notice this? Right? So actually, I have my hack for it is I do dermaplaning, and I do that every once in a while, and it sort of kind of takes care of that, but it also exfoliates. So that's kind of what I do, but I'll pluck them. I have not done the tweezers in the car route, but that's the thing is they hide in the weird light, those little buggers.
No, they do. And I don't know if it's considered dermaplaning. It's like this little tool that's like this really kind of a razor-y type thing on the end. And then you just like scrape the dead skin and also the little peach fuzz and all of that. But sometimes it doesn't get those really coarse ones that like to pop out.
And you got to change the blade pretty often. Like I've got one that I charge that kind of vibrates a little bit. And you have to change the blade like every time, or if you have like a really intense session.
Also, that kind of goes along with that is this pressure that women feel, first of all, to be ageless, right? We're not allowed to age. We're not allowed to get wrinkles or gray hair or, put on some pounds or, have crepey skin. In our society, youth and beauty and thinness are valued. And as we age, it's just living up to that unrealistic expectation is impossible.
Well, Photoshop literally created an entire cottage industry based on that insecurity. I was reading, and I'm not a fan of the Kardashians at all, but I can't remember. I think it was part of an article on aging or something. And Khloe Kardashian was like, oh, yes, I Photoshopped. We're like, no shit, right? And she goes, I just thought that's what everybody did. It's like, okay. What?
Well, thank you, Chloe, for letting people know. Thank you for letting young women know,
like finally,
that you are Photoshopped. That this is not reality. You are not flawless because nobody is.
Yeah. So I feel like the damage is kind of done, though. I don't know. I don't give the Kardashians a lot of grace because I feel like they've made money off of like everybody's insecurities.
Yes. No. 100%. Did you see the Skims? So literally, Kim's company, Skims, who does like bodysuits and whatnot, has a chin strap thing.
Shut up.
No fucking joke. And this is what breaks my heart. It sold out.
Of course it did.
Women are buying it. And
of course it did.
You strap it on. Well, yeah, if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can't see what I'm doing, but you literally put it under your chin and it connects to like the top of your head. So yeah, you're supposed to wear this thing. And I think it's supposed to either help with like turkey neck or jowls or some shit. But yeah, so
you can strap it down all you want, but
the Kardashians are not helping.
Okay, they are not invited to be guests on this podcast. I'm telling you right now. So Kardashians, if you're thinking about coming on this podcast, you can't come on.
Well, I have some questions for them actually. So how about
Fine.
if Courtney calls? No, if Courtney calls, I will take her call.
Okay. Yeah, not Kylie though. And I'm still on the fence about Chloe.
I don't even know which one that is.
See, exactly. They run in packs.
Hey there, I'm Lisa Coricella McDowell, your midlife Pacific Northwest princess, here to guide you in the art of next leveling your life. I'm passionate about women's health and wellness in midlife, especially for moms parenting kids with unique needs like I do. I truly believe we can learn, grow, advocate, and care for the planet while taking care of ourselves and our families. And I'd love to help you do the same. And I'm beyond excited to tell you about my membership for maxed out mamas just like me, the Empowered Parent Collective. It's a space for parents to confidently advocate for their kids, build inclusive communities, educate themselves, and find balance and support along the way. To find out more about the Empowered Parent Collective, my classes, wellness offerings, parenting tips, advocacy resources, and exclusive Drinks with the Girls goodies, head to nextlevellifewithlisa.com. Let's survive and thrive in the messy middle together.
So, what is the weirdest thing that your body surprised you with this year?
Okay, I got this one because this just happened. I looked down at my ankle the other day, my left ankle, and it looked like I'd been in a prize fight. It looked like it was bruised to crap and just darkened and, just like a bruise, right? I'm like, what the hell? So I felt down there and I was like, oh my God, this is going to hurt. Nothing. It's like, this is the weirdest thing ever. And then a few days later, same thing on my other ankle. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? So I did what any sane woman would do, and I Googled it.
Yeah. Yep.
And supposedly it's some kind of thing that's related to eczema, which I have, and I will put that right in the weird category, in my ears since midlife has been upon me. We'll get into that in a minute. Yeah. Oh, it's totally a thing. So yeah. So apparently it's some kind of an eczema. So they're like, see your dermatologist. And I was like, screw that. I'm just going to slap some cortisone on it and call it good. But I'm like, really? Like I have to deal with like imaginary bruised ankles? Like what the hell? It's weird. All right. How about you?
That is weird. I actually have a few. The one I was going to say, I have that one, but then you made me think of when you talked about looking down at your skin. So it's like when if I have shorts on and I'm sitting down and I look down at my thighs and it's like all the skin that gathers like above your knee. I don't know. Is it just me?
Hang on. Wait, I need to check. I've got sweats on though. I don't have any skin gathering, but I also think it's because I'm short. And so like literally any chair I'm in messes up the ankle. So
okay, I messed it up. I'm looking at my legs right now. It's not when my legs are when I'm in the sitting. It's like if I'm in a I'm in a recliner and my legs are straight in front of me.
Yes. I was like,
I ruined it.
Okay, I was seriously confused because I'm like, that's like when the muscle stretches. So that's
right. Yeah,
that is a bigger problem.
No, okay. Let me tell you exactly. Let me tell you the bigger problem. The bigger problem is what I originally thought of right out of the gate is peeing, like when I laugh or sneeze.
Struggle
and I was always, because my sister, she's 2 years older than me. She's had that problem for like, I don't know, 20 years. And I would always kind of make fun of her. I'm like, oh my God, what?
See, karma.
And yeah, karma is coming back to me because now that happens to me too. And that's just not okay. And I'm not talking like a little sprinkle.
Oh no. Yeah. That doesn't necessarily happen to me, but ever since I had kids,
whatever.
I can't. Well, listen, I'm going to tell the story. Good God. But I can't jump on a trampoline. And I love trampolines. If I do that, it is not pretty. There will be little children harmed in the making of that film. And, it's having kids. Like, I'm sorry, but you can't push a watermelon out of your hoo-ha and expect everything to just line right up again.
This is true.
So,
although props to the female anatomy though, for literally being able to morph into, this like what
sandworm from Dune.
No. This amazing birthing machine.
Yes.
Right? Like just how our body is able to adapt to this little growing human inside us and then spit it out.
Yep.
And then pretty much go back to, I don't want to say normal, but at least try to.
Yeah. And I do pee when I laugh or sneeze. It just has to be like violent.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
I'm not totally immune, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, and while we're talking about childbirth, would someone please tell me why no one tells you that you're going to rip after you have kids? Like my doctor's like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. I'm like, this was not in the baby manuals. This was not in the like cute delivery, like this is what happens to your body. Literally, show me a book where it says, yes, and contractions and da-da-da-da, and you know, once you're dilated at this much and you have the baby and you'll rip and they sew you back together again if you're lucky. Nowhere does it say that.
They don't? They should say that. They might now.
I would just like to be warned. Thank you very much.
Well, I mean, honestly, if you knew that, women might not, they might be like,
Okay.
nope, never mind. Forget
That's the thing, right? Back to the patriarchy. I always say this. My husband, after we had our first child and I was pregnant with my daughter, he was like, I swear to God, if women really, like, if men knew what really was going on and they were the ones that had to deliver, like, the human race would die out as we know it. Like, there's no way a man would put themselves through that. But it's that baby amnesia, right? Like, by the time you're pregnant with your second one, you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad. It was fine.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Totally. Yeah. You forget.
Yeah.
All right. How about your eyebrows?
I haven't had issues with my eyebrows disappearing. I have had issues with them going places that they shouldn't. They like run away to different parts. And I'm like, I'm sorry for those of you that are just listening to the audio. You need to check out the YouTube version of this because you probably aren't getting the full impact. But like, I'll find them like here, you know, like full on space between where they end. And I'm just like, okay, why have you little pore, why have you decided to sprout hair? Right?
Eyebrows gone rogue.
Right? And pubic hair gone rogue? Okay, that's ridiculous. Let me just talk about that. What the hell?
That is ridiculous. I've been spending so much time by my pool. And, you know, you think when you're in the shower, you're like, oh, I'll shave my legs and I'll, you know, tidy up some things. But no, and it's the same. It's just like my eyebrow hairs. I'll look down at like mid-thigh and I have like a 3-inch long black hair.
Yes. And it just gets worse. I was getting dressed the other day and my daughter was like, Mom, you need to take care of that. And I'm like, okay, I can't afford to get waxed every 10 minutes. So when I like go on a trip, that's when it happens. And otherwise, people are just going to have to frickin' deal with it because, you know, I mean, I'm not exactly spending time like, you know, at the neighborhood pool with like, you know, a thong on. So I don't worry about it too much. But
we have a saying here because the town I live in is called Fallbrook. And, you know, it's on 3 acres. It's kind of in the country. When people come here, it's like everybody just automatically relaxes. It's just like, it's a very relaxing, just chill place, right? And so Tony and I joke because, you know, sometimes he'll grow like a little bit of a beard. He'll grow like a week-long beard. And he was a fire captain, so he was always high and tight. So he'll grow the beard. You know, I won't shave my legs for a minute. And so we call it Fallbrook vibes. We're like, hashtag Fallbrook vibes. And so, yeah, anytime any of the personal grooming stuff gets a little out of hand, I just tell him, Fallbrook vibes, babe. Sorry, Fallbrook vibes.
I actually really hate it when my husband doesn't shave because to me it ages him. I'm like, you look like you belong on the street without a home. Like, come on, dude. Like, so I will post this in the group, but this is a shout out to my Smithies, my 1990 Smithies from the reunion. This comes straight up from a reunion. So we have amazing people in my class, like just incredible people doing incredible things. And 3 of them did a forum for us on menopause and all sorts of different things that happen. And it was fantastic. And we just got to ask them questions. It was really, really super cool. And I mean, a lot of knowledge. Like one woman is a concierge doctor. One is like a decorated dermatologist. The other one has worked for like the National Institutes of Health, like hardcore expertise. It was so wonderful. And so this topic of hormones came up. And they were talking about, okay, you know, if you use an estrogen patch or estrogen replacement, like, you know, it can do this, it can do this, it can do this. And I mean, you have more of a fluffy vagina. And we are all like, what the hell did you just say? And they're like, you know, it gets fluffier. We're like, what the hell do you mean fluffier? They're like, well, you know, it plumps up, it's fluffy. So that has become like the battle cry from the reunion. And like, I'm like, I tag it for my new band name. You know how everybody has like this pretend band name that they'd have if they started a band?
Oh,
maybe
that's
it's
your
just
band
me.
name?
Yeah, maybe it's just me. So like literally when anybody says anything in the group related to it, it's like hashtag fluffy vagina. So there you go. That is a life goal for your estrogen patch.
I got to think of my band name. It's not going to be fluffy vagina.
I mean, can you top that? I don't think so.
Doubtful.
Yeah.
Okay, full transparency. I don't know that much about pelvic floor health, but I feel like that's a good segue. Fluffy vagina, what we're talking
it's
about,
a big deal.
Bladder.
Sure.
Right. And so we are going to have an expert talking about pelvic floor health later on this year or maybe early next year. So stay tuned for that. But I just think there's so many things that happen to our pelvic floor, to our bladder, to our vajayjay, you know, to our estrogen, you know, all the things that kind of not make us a woman, but all these things that are part of who we are, right? And dryness, for God's sake, you know, and we aren't allowed to talk about it. Painful sex.
So I will tell you, well, number one, I'm super excited to have this guest on because I think that's really helpful. And the reading I've done has said that that is one of the biggest issues with older women, right? And Naomi Major talked about it on our HRT episode, but she was saying that a lot of the issues with urinary incontinence and also bladder infections in older women has to do with the fact that the pelvic floor and the skin around the urethra gets really, really thin. And that becomes a huge, huge problem. And she was talking about there's a cream, I think it's an estrogen cream that she really recommends women use to make sure that that doesn't thin too much because when you get older, it's a huge problem. I have low back issues. It just gets really, really tight and I go to a chiropractor, but I have a masseuse that I've known her for years, like literally since my daughter was in my tummy. And she was saying, you know, we may want to try some releases for your pelvic floor to help your low back. And I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about, woman? And she goes, well, I work on the outer. She goes, I don't do the inner. And subsequent to that, I had a PT tell me the same thing. And I had to sign a waiver and do all this stuff, but there's a tool you can use to work on the inner pelvic floor. And it's literally just like knots in your muscles. And when those muscles get tight and cramped and, you know, just like any other muscle, it messes with your back. And I am telling you, it hurts like a bitch when she does it on the outside, but my lower back has never felt better. So I think there's this kind of tendency to be like, yeah, I'm not going to look down there for a while. Like, I don't want to know, you know, but there's just a lot of stuff that I think you can do to set yourself up for success and aging well if you, pardon the pun, like look down there every once in a while.
Absolutely. See, look at, you know, all this stuff about the pelvic floor. I feel like for me, that's like an untapped, you know, thing I don't know anything about.
Yep.
And it's amazing to me that the connection between your pelvic floor and your back. So that's incredible.
Well, and I'll tell you that the in all seriousness, the laughing and peeing and the sneezing and peeing, that's directly related to that. That is directly related to pelvic floor health. And people are just like, oh, do Kegels. That's not all you need to do. So yeah, definitely check that out.
Well, this goes back to, and I can't remember, you're the episode queen. What episode were we talking about how it's just, it's not like our sex episode. You're not going to go into your doctor and just be like, hey, I'm having these really intimate personal
Exactly.
problems, or I think at this age, we're like, yeah, I'm going to start saying it now.
Yeah. Yep.
But it takes a lot of courage and confidence to build up to that, to talk about what's going on. Talk about, my bladder is like losing control,
Yep.
or sex is super painful, or, because we're taught not to talk about those things. Something's wrong with us. So I think normalizing, first of all, having conversations about our pelvic floors and all the things. Ask our medical professionals if we are struggling in some areas like this, right? Normalizing saying, I am not broken. Nothing is wrong with me. This is a part of being a human. This is a part of aging, and let's just talk about it.
My name is Karen Shatafian, and I am a shameless coffee addict and empowerment coach for women, and my love language is authenticity. My mission is helping women unapologetically design a life they're in love with. Because what the hell are we waiting for? My website, KarenShatafian.com, has all my coaching packages and free offers, like my Midlife Reclamation Guide. In it, you'll find tools to help you decide how to create the most inspired and empowered version of yourself and your life. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram talking about ways women can show up for themselves after decades of showing up for everyone else. Join me as we throw off the shackles and live our best freaking lives. See the show notes for all the details. Cheers.
Again, we love the men in our life, but, the patriarchy has a lot to answer for. I think a lot of it has to do with there just hasn't been well-funded research for midlife women and the issues that they deal with. I mean, we talked about this on all of our menopause episodes, where it's just this thing that we thought we had to suffer through. And our generation has really been the first one to be like, excuse me, no, I don't accept that. Right. I mean, for God's sakes, they do penile implants and pumps and crap, and insurance covers it. Like, really?
I've been seeing a lot on Instagram with the menopause influencers per se, the women who talk a lot about menopause, and how they're saying, yeah, if men went into their doctors and said, I have all these symptoms, there would be a lickety split.
100%. Here's your options.
Yes, here's some things. But because, we go in and the doctors are like, oh, well, it's just part of aging.
Yep.
Take some melatonin so you can sleep better. I think at a minimum, normalizing talking to our girlfriends about stuff like this, talking about women that you trust, right? Your sisters, family members, your mom, if she's still around.
Yeah.
Because I think the more we talk about it, the easier it gets for women.
Yeah. And it's like, I do think that there's like, don't get me wrong, people hate wrinkles, right? They hate wrinkles because it's a sign you're aging and blah, 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 blah. But that's kind of normalized, right? Like, people aren't like, oh, you want to do something about your wrinkles? Like, they may be judging you for doing that, but people don't think that's weird. But if you talk to people about, chin hairs or toe fungus or skin tags or whatever, right? They'd be like, there's just this feeling of like, oh, I'm the only person this is happening to. Like, back to the Halloween theme, like, I'm the bride of Frankenstein.
Some of those things are gross, right? Literally, they are. And that's okay. And you know what? Everybody has gross stuff. But I think it goes back to kind of what we were talking about earlier, is like, how you're supposed to be as a woman.
Yep.
You're supposed to be pretty, and you're supposed to, I don't know, like a little doll. You're not supposed to have these bodily functions or have skin tags or warts or chin hairs.
Well, I mean, look at, in the 1800s, it was like the contraptions that women had to wear. Right? The corsets and the petticoats and the this and the that. Like, it was this, I mean, only rich people dressed like that because they were the only one that could afford to have the help needed to like put all this crap on every day. Like, I mean, if you guys have ever seen that show, The Gilded Age, I mean, like, holy mother of God, like, you can't just like go out to the shop without getting like head to toe, like hat, coiffured hair, and like all the way. I mean, my God. I just look at that and makes me tired. Like, I would never have survived. I probably would have been like a skull remake because I just would have been, fuck it. I just want to wear an apron.
So what are some ways we can cope with all of this? How about doing kind of what we're doing today, talking about it, but also laughing about it. Like, I think humor is one of those things where, if you don't laugh about it, you're going to cry about it.
Well, and also I feel like there's this whole thing of like, oh, if we don't talk about it, it doesn't exist, right? I don't know, like skin tags, right? So Don't ask me why. But after my breast reduction surgery, I just all of a sudden all these skin tags popped up in my chest area and kind of underneath my breast. And I was like, what is going on? So it's like by the time they popped up, I wasn't really following up with my plastic surgeon. And so I asked my dermatologist, like, what in the world is going on? She goes, well, we don't know really why. We don't know why they show up. They just do. And I'm like, did my surgery trigger this? She's like, well, it could have. We just don't know. And it's like, that is not acceptable. You need to know, right? So I'm like, okay, well, can we take them off? Yeah, I can do it. It's a pretty simple procedure. I swear to God, I am not making this up, right? I'm expecting her to like numb me up, and I swear to God, I'm not kidding. She got a sharp pair of scissors and cut them all off.
Wow.
Not joking. I was just like, wait, what? Like, yeah,
Wow.
sewing scissors and just, I'm like, wait, is this going to hurt? She goes, oh, it might a little, but I'll pull on it. So she's
Right.
literally like sitting over there pulling on the skin tag and just snipping, like she was snipping the tag off a t-shirt. And I'm like, okay, is there any like aftercare? She goes, no, it should be fine. Might be a little sore. She goes, they'll probably come back.
Yeah. They're nasty little buggers. I used to have
like,
a lot of them.
okay.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah.
I just want to interject real quick when we were talking about pelvic floor health, because I wanted to give a shout out to I couldn't remember her name, but her name is Dr. Betsy Greenleaf.
Oh, yay.
And she's a triple board certified physician and founder of the International Pause Institute. And she helps women with their pelvic wellness. So we will look forward to that episode.
Okay. Sort of kind of a squirrel, but not really.
Yeah.
And we always talk about this at the end of the episode. So just today, we got our famous badge for hitting 3,000 downloads, which we're super excited about, right? So we're getting there. But one of the reasons that like we harp about share, like, review, like join the pod squad, like blah, 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 is it's super exciting because I would say probably a year ago now, we have gotten noticed, right? We're getting, like, if you search Drinks with the Girls podcast on Google, we show up. So we're finally becoming visible. And what's so cool about this is that we get publicists and people like Dr. Greenleaf contacting us and wanting to be on the show, which is so great for so many reasons. The best of which is that you guys get answers to this kind of information, right? You have a trusted source that you can go to, and that wouldn't happen unless we were visible. And we don't say yes to everybody. Our motto is always like, it has to provide the value for you first. Like that's the important thing. So I know this is a little bit of a tangent. We usually talk about it at the end of the episode, but I just wanted to kind of point that out because we really want to bring the ideas, the concepts, the value, the content that you guys want.
Hell yeah. I think part of what makes this so challenging, and we kind of alluded to it in the beginning, is that as we age, men and women, right? These things, these quote unquote weird things happen to us. Like, our hair turns gray. Like, how does that even happen? That's kind of a wild process if you think about it. Or
black, in my case, which is still the most weird, bizarre thing ever.
That is weird and bizarre.
It's so weird. And I know like everybody wants to slap me through their AirPods right now, but it's actually really, really annoying because I don't have to, but I choose to color my hair, right? And it doesn't blend well because my hair is getting so dark. So I would actually love to have a few more gray hairs so I didn't have to like do my thing in the colorist chair. Like if I went all natural gray, we did an episode on that with Natasha Colmine, and that was great. If you're thinking about going gray and natural, listen to that. She has some really good tips. Like I don't have that choice because literally it's black. It's the weirdest thing ever. Anyways, but I digress, sort of.
Why don't you just let the black grow out? You could be a whole new persona. You could be like a whole new woman. Martin will be like, hey, who's this dark hair beauty?
I know. I guess I'm just like, and I've dyed it dark before. Like I did a dark red. I guess, honestly, my honest answer to that is this one more thing I would have to deal with. Like, I'm like, well, what if it grows out dark and then all of a sudden turns gray? Then when I do, like, I just, honestly, like my eyes just glaze over and I go, I have a system, like,
Yeah.
It works for me. Like, it just seems like more high
We don't need any
maintenance
big
than
changes right now.
Exactly. I'm like, it just seems more high. I mean, the only color I'm going to dye my hair is like bright purple, right? I'm not quite ready to do that, but I'm totally down with that whole poem about when I am old, I shall wear purple. I will dye it purple. Like, I'm going to be one of those 80-year-olds that's like, yeah, I think I'll go teal. Because why not?
Why not do it now? Why you got to be 80?
Well, because I have a day job where I work in schools and it's a customer facing thing. And it's not like my company says you can't, but it would it would be an issue. But oh yeah, no, as soon as that is not part of my life anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately, and I don't know what the climate is like where you work, but I think when you are a woman in a profession, you have to come across as professional.
Yep.
And so, yeah,
it is what it is.
Something like that. Yeah. And men too. If a man came in with purple hair, it might
it's
be
anybody, right? Piercings, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
My daughter's like, she's like, Mom, I want to get a septum piercing. I'm like, great. I'll be so happy for you when you're earning your own money and can actually take care of it, right? And she's like, I said, you need to think about the consequences of that and kind of what that would mean, like you want to get a job and, well, I'll just get a job where body piercings are okay. I'm like, go with God, and not that it should be like, whatever, you do you, right? But let's be real. If you have a lot of body piercings, and maybe this is controversial, I don't know, certain jobs I think might have an issue with it. And I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, but that's just kind of the way it is. So at any rate, I'm getting off on a freaking tangent here. Pierce all the things.
I think that's how tattoos used to be like 25 years ago.
Yes. And now no one cares. Although I will say this, our guest, Lisa Potter, that does our Dinner Without the Drama series, her daughter has like full length arm sleeves. And, when she was 19, she got them done. And Lisa and her husband were like, I don't know that you want to do that yet. Like, you may want to decide on a career. I'm fine, right? And now she totally regrets it because she works in an orthodontia office in a very conservative kind of area. And they're like, nope, long sleeves. She goes, it's like 100 degrees out and I'm in long sleeves. And I so regret it. And getting tattoos removed is hardcore, but getting like a sleeve removed like that, never mind the expense. That's a whole big thing.
Expense, time, and pain.
Yeah.
Well, where I was kind of going with that when I started talking about like having gray hair is, there's all these things that happen to us as we age that are quote unquote weird or strange, right? Our hair, wrinkles, our posture, the way our body looks, and I just think it's challenging because, like we've talked about before, women aren't allowed to age. We're not, we're seen as less valuable as we age. As we get more wrinkles and more gray hair, then somehow we lose our value or we become invisible. And so that makes it just so much harder to not only deal with, but to even feel like you can talk about it to somebody else, and to talk about true feelings about, because I try really, really hard to embrace aging and wrinkles, right? I haven't been able to go gray yet, my wrinkly knees and all that stuff. But there's that other part of me that has been conditioned the way we have been conditioned that says that is not beautiful. You are not beautiful. You are not valuable because of the wrinkles. And that sucks.
No, agree. And look, the bottom line is, without getting political, research is funded for certain reasons, not the least of which is what's going to attract people, what's going to get the most press, like all that kind of stuff, right? And there's definitely this feeling of older women don't make real good copy. Like, that's why menopause has not been as understood before, is because there was no funding for research. Like, I remember back in the 80s when there was this huge push by people like Lily Tartikoff to have breast cancer awareness. Like, I worked for a film company that did a mammogram, like a PSA movie kind of thing. And we got all these people to appear because it was like a big deal. And people were like, we need to fund this. Like, this needs to be a thing. But that's kind of a microcosm of what happens with all these other issues, right? Like, I think it's only quote unquote weird because nobody talks about it, right? Like, it wouldn't be weird if people were like, yeah, your bones are going to get thinner. You might lose some height and your posture might be stooped. So to prevent that and strengthen, you need to do weight-bearing exercise, like all these things are important. You need to prioritize X, Y, and Z. And then it wouldn't be weird. It would just be, this is part of being a healthy adult in midlife. No biggie. Here you go.
Okay, quick pause. Have we talked about the Pod Squad lately?
Oh, the Pod Squad. You mean our email list /VIP lounge /digital wine club?
Exactly. So listeners, if you're not on it yet, you're basically making life harder for yourself when it comes to podcasts.
Like trying to scroll for show notes while speed walking on a treadmill. Wait, what was that link again? Oh, no. Grab the side rails.
Or pulling up that book we mentioned while you're in the Starbucks line and then realizing everybody else moved up 3 cars and now you're that woman.
We've all been there. That's why we made the Pod Squad. You'll get new episode alerts every week with direct links. Easy to listen, easy to share.
And show notes straight to your inbox. So when we drop a life-changing product, book, hot tip, or yummy new drink, you're not rummaging through your memory like a woman searching for her reading glasses when they're on top of her head.
It's organized, it's helpful, it's for you, babes.
So join the Pod Squad. The link is in the show notes. Just tap it.
Snacks, sarcasm, solidarity.
And obviously, fighting the patriarchy.
We write at dawn.
I have a friend who told me about this account on Instagram, and she's called the Vagina Coach.
Nice.
And I just looked her up, and it's Kim Vopni, the Vagina Coach, literally, and it's a health and wellness website. I help women prevent and heal incontinence and prolapse. And she talks about, I mean, we're circling back again to like the pelvic health. I mean, how amazing she's a vagina coach. Like, so talk about being comfortable talking about it. Like, you're literally putting yourself out there as a vagina coach and encouraging women to talk about it.
Yep. Yeah. And I think, I mean, I have mixed feelings about influencers, okay? Because I feel like there's a lot of quote unquote influencers out there like the Kardashians that, you know, people like my daughter and, you know, people like Karen's daughter, like that's what they see, you know, and that they kind of have this warped reality that they push and sell products for. I mean, and that's my big thing with the Kardashians is it's just like, you do you, but if you're going to Photoshop yourself and then sell products based on the Photoshop version, that's not cool in my opinion. But what I love is like there's these anti-influencers that are showing up now, like the Vagina Coach, like all these other people that are out there using that quote unquote influencer platform for good. And I love it. I'm so here for that. So I mean, you know, Karen is the Instagram girl. I'm not necessarily I don't even know. Is that 6 negatives in one? At any rate, I'm for it. I don't necessarily scroll Instagram all the time, but I do feel like that's one of our kind of tenets here at Drinks with the Girls is we try to bring these resources to you guys. And Instagram seems to be pushing out some really good content in terms of that. And it's fairly straightforward for someone who wants to get their content out into the world to use that vehicle that's Instagram. So we will highlight those whenever the stuff comes up for you guys to check out.
And I think, you know, to your point, it's like, yeah, that term influencer, it just makes my skin crawl because, you know, there's influencers that we kind of have over the past decade learned like, well, what does that mean? Oh, it's, well, here's a product. Let me sell you this product, whether or not I know it works or not. And let me have this perfect curated aesthetic. Let me, you know, and then you have people on there that just have things to say. They have knowledge to give. They have services to offer. And I look at a lot of the, because my algorithm is full of like, you know, perimenopause and menopause experts and also, you know, pro-aging people. And you have to take it with a grain of salt because, you know, I get I kind of make a little face when some of the menopause experts start pushing like their product, like their own vitamins or their own this or their own that. And I'm not saying that those aren't good. Yeah. But I'm also, you just have to be like anything online. You just have to do your due diligence and make sure, you know, that if you are buying things from somebody or services from somebody that it's, you know, somebody that's in alignment with who you are and what you want.
Yep. That's one of the reasons why I have aligned myself with the skin and makeup and nutrition company Arbonne is because I believe in their products. And most importantly, I believe in their ingredient policy, like how they treat the planet, all that kind of stuff. So if I'm going to put my name behind something, I better use that. I better know about it and I better agree with their corporate philosophy. That's just how I roll. I don't,
Yeah.
I just think unless you are value content driven first, it's pretty disingenuous, in my opinion. Like, I don't think the Kardashian, I know I'm totally bashing the Kardashians, but whatever, don't care. Again, Courtney, you can come on the podcast. Kylie, you can't. I feel like that is a prime example of they are not value content driven people. Is that too harsh? Right? Like, they're not interested in the value of the content first. They're interested in selling whatever shizzle chin strap.
And that's
thing.
the part yes, thank you for bringing up the chin strap thing, because they're playing to our insecurities.
100%.
They are making money off of us feeling bad about aging naturally.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, let us freaking age naturally and stop peddling the bullshit.
I don't even know how that physically works. Like, that makes absolutely no sense to me. Like, what are you going to do? Walk around with a chin strap 24/7?
When I show you the pictures of it. And actually, okay, you know what? This brings up, we are going to have a guest, Lynn Harris. She is a comedian, and we're going to talk all about how to use laughter to just kind of, make light of all these crazy things that we go through in perimenopause and menopause and aging. And she did a parody on this chin strap thing.
Shut up.
So I don't know if it's premature to link that in this show note, the show notes of this podcast, but I feel like y'all
hilarious.
Need to see this craziness. It's wild.
Love it.
So Lisa, what are your top takeaways that you want our listeners to walk away with from this episode?
I mean, I think the number one thing is, if stuff is annoying you or bothering you, like, don't make it your default response that you're like this weird Bride of Frankenstein, to bring it back to the Halloween theme, where this stuff happens and it's not happening to other people. If you feel comfortable about it, talk to your girlfriends. But like, to me, if your doctor isn't comfortable talking about this stuff and you're not comfortable talking to your doctor about this stuff, bye-bye. Find someone you are comfortable with. Right? Because like, we shouldn't be like doomsday scrolling Google for information about stuff, right? Like, I would like to think that we have places we can go for good information. And so like, whatever small part we can have in contributing to that good sources of information, like, we're all here for that. But just accept that these are normal things. It's not bad. It's not good. It just is. And some of the stuff you can do something about, and some of the stuff you can't. So the stuff you can do stuff about, find a trusted authority and get the information. And the stuff you can't do anything about, just freaking laugh about it and have a cocktail. Like, I'm not going to lose one single second of my precious life that I can't get back. And I'm not perfect. Like, I go down that rabbit hole just like everybody else, but I don't want to pay it a lot of attention, because that's just something that I could be doing in a much more, celebrating something in a much more healthy manner. It's kind of how I feel. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. And I'll piggyback on that. And, I just want listeners to walk away from this episode, hopefully realizing they're not alone. If they have, rogue eyebrow hairs or chin hairs or a fluffy vagina or whatever it is they have.
No, they want the fluffy vagina. That's different.
Well, right, exactly. But you're not alone. We are all in this together. And that's what we do here at Drinks with the Girls. It's like, we just open up this sisterhood so everybody can just feel seen and, just recognize that aging is actually a beautiful thing. Like, my mom died when she was 51. She did not have the privilege of having these crazy things that I'm dealing with, because I'm aging. And I think just normalizing that, and normalizing that we are all socialized as women to believe that aging is not okay and that we're not beautiful or valuable. And that's what I want women to recognize. It's like, if some of our listeners are diehard patriarchy smashers, just like we are, And then some women are also kind of new to the awareness and to the fight, maybe. And so it's like, just maybe even recognize what's really going on, because all these crazy things that are happening to us, making us feel some kind of way, doesn't have anything to do with our value as a human being. And so
I think this is a topic for a larger episode, to be honest. It just kind of came to me. I want to make it clear that when we talk about or joke about bashing the patriarchy, I think what people instantly kind of, not all people, but some people might look at that as like you're man bashing, right? And so we're always really careful to be like, no, we love men. We love the men. But I think the thing that really riles us up is the patriarchy. When we're talking about the patriarchy, we're talking about as a construct of the white male, frankly, power that has run the world for as long as it has and made the decisions for all of us that aren't white or male. And that's the piece that we're pushing against. I think we need to, there's an episode in there somewhere.
Well, I think we're pushing against a system. We're not pushing against men per se. We're pushing against this system that we've all been raised with, men and women, right? And it's part of societal conditioning. And so, and unfortunately, like you said, it has been through the lens of what is important to white men. Yes, what is prioritized. And sometimes it feels, like we get tired. We get tired of constantly addressing the patriarchy and fighting against the patriarchy and talking about the patriarchy, because it feels like an uphill battle, but it's also an important battle. It's an important thing to talk about and to be aware of and to recognize as women. This is kind of one of the things that we have against us.
I think this clearly is an episode waiting to be recorded. So we're going to get off this tangent train and put it in our Google Doc that we keep for episode ideas. We do have a Google Doc and we do listen. So listeners, reach out with your crazy, weird shizzle that happens as you age stories. Reach out with episode ideas. We'd love to hear them. We always love that. Or just like email us. And one of the easy ways you can do that is to join the Pod Squad. We harp on this because for Drinks with the Girls 2.0 to happen and for us to grow, an email list is really the next step. Again, not going to spam you, not going to sell our list, but it delivers the episodes to you every week, just serves them up on a platter where you can like forward them to a girlfriend. All the show notes are in there. So it really is a pretty easy way that you can support us and grow this podcast and also give yourself some value as well. So anything else you want to say, my love?
Well, and that's how you can connect with us. And so we are here to listen to whatever you guys need, because this is our goal for this podcast, is to provide things that you need. So either, shoot us an email via the Pod Squad, send us a DM through Instagram, Facebook, and give us that 5-star review. And thank you so much. And we can't wait to see you next time. Cheers.
Happy Halloween. Cheers.